this crown all the time.
Well, I do. Actually, it's given me a headache because wearing it all night in bed becomes very tiring.
That's true.
And it's that's why my wife's not here tonight, because it's cutting hell out of her face in bed, too.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Would have a tendency to do that. Must be a big thrill for you, King of Mumba, after all these years.
Well, it is, Don, yes. It's a great thrill, you know, to think of all the great people that were picked before me.
Oh, Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. Robert Helpman.
Yeah.
We had something in common. We both danced well together, you know.
I see conflicting things about your size. Now, I know you're bigger than Mickey Mouse.
Much bigger.
Yeah, right. But every time I read another article about you, you won't believe this, we actually did do research on you.
Yes.
It
That'll probably take about 3 years.
That ranges from 5'3.5" to 5'6.5".
I'm 5'6" and an eighth.
And an eighth.
And when you're 5'6" and an eighth, that eighth counts a lot, I'll tell you.
I bet it does. Being a small guy and playing in a game where, you know, big guys are dominant, ruckman and so forth and so on, I guess you have to use your wiles when you play.
Well, you do, and when you're naturally brilliant, you don't worry about that, you see. And, you know, you take a guy like Jack Dyer.
Yeah.
He's a big ruckman. I played against Jack. He was much older than me because he was going out of the game.
Captain Blood.
Captain Blood. I call him Captain Custard, actually, and... on a clear day, you can see in one ear and see Port Phillip Bay through the other. But I do love Jack Dyer. Yeah. And, of course, you know, I'm not bragging about this, but we have a wonderful show, League Teams, and, well, we rehearse as much as you guys do here for about 3.5 hours. It gets very tiring, the rehearsal part.
Sure, I can imagine.
You know what all the lines that go into it, and Jack's one of the great rehearsers. We have to wake him up about 16 times during the rehearsal.
I saw a quote from him. He said, "You are a courageous little fellow."
I'll agree with that, yes.
Well, yeah. Lou the Lip. Who gave you that nickname?
Well, I think that may have been given to me whilst I was playing football, because I was rather a cheeky young fellow on the ground. Because you mentioned before the lack of size, I think you had to have some other weapon.
Yeah.
And I couldn't punch them or beat them, so I used to try and talk them out of it, you know. And I think that's where I got Lou the Lip from, and other names besides that, of course.
For people that may not know, Lou has a habit of making brash promises and wild statements about what he's going to do. On September the 13th, '64, Lou Richards made a bet which he lost, and this is the end result. He had to climb up to paint this flagpole with mascara. Not too frightened there, folks. Have a good look at him there.
Well, actually, that was as far as I went because I was terrified, and the fellow that was with me was Barry Bretland. He went up to the flagpole, so I took the credit for it as usual.
Okay, here's another one. May '69. Lou Richards taking his promised dip in the Flinders Street horse trough because you predicted that North Melbourne would thrash Hawthorn.
And that's right.
Wrong again.
See Peter Hudson there, the famous Hawthorn full forward in the background.
Hazel?
Peter Hudson.
Hazel Hudson.
You call him Hazel?
No. we send him up here.
Oh, I see. Well, Peter was very smart. That was pretty cold, that horse trough, but he decided to drop 3 big blocks of ice besides.
Never let him live it down. Every time he goes to these shows. Here we go. Fulfilling a bet for his big mouth, Fitzroy would beat Essendon, he said.
Well, I jumped off the St Kilda Pier at about 5:30 in the morning, and I thought I'd be smart, and I put a wetsuit on. And I didn't know you had to wet inside yourself firstly, and I did I made one other fatal mistake. There's a button underneath, and I forgot to do the button up, and I had a terrible accident.
Welcome, please, the wonderful Kate Sobrano. Kate, welcome. I went along to the New South Wales Art Gallery yesterday, not knowing I was going to talk to you today.